Aloha mai kako. My name is David Lassner, and I serve as the president of the University of Hawaiʻi, leading our 10-campus system and our flagship University of Hawaiʻi at Manoa. We serve these islands, which are the ancestral home of the Kanaka Maoli, or Native Hawaiian people. My own ancestry involves centuries of wandering, but I am now privileged to make my home in lush Waiomau within Palolo Valley, in the Ahupua'a of Waikiki, within the Moku of Kona on the island of Oahu. I am personally grateful to this place and her people, both of which have embraced me for over 4 decades. Over 125 years ago, Queen Liliuokalani yielded the Hawaiian Kingdom and these territories under duress and protest to the United States to avoid the bloodshed of her people. And it was nearly 30 years ago that the U.S. government formally apologized for this act, which it has acknowledged as an illegal overthrow. As the only public institution of higher education in Hawaii, the University of Hawaii is strategically clear in our commitment to become a model Indigenous serving institution, committed to the sustainability of Hawaii's people, islands, language, culture, and knowledge. This strategic imperative is named Hawaii Papaokeao, or the Hawaii Foundation of Enlightened Knowledge. So today I welcome you all, and I offer up an invitation to join us in celebrating the University of Hawaii's ongoing contributions to the advancement of Indigenous Hawaiian knowledge. Mahalo.
Aloha mai kako. I am Mainette Kapiahiokalani Patakinani Benham, Chancellor of the University of Hawaii West Oahu and co-chair of Hawaii Papaokeao, with Chancellor of Maui College, Dr. Louis Hokoana. Hawaii Papaokeao was established in January 2012 and consists of representatives from all 10 campuses. The purpose of this presidentially appointed committee is to set goals and objectives to address the higher education needs of Native Hawaiians through 3 pathways: leadership development, community engagement, and Hawaiian language and cultural parity. At our first meeting this school year, our discussions focused on how our Native Hawaiian students, faculty, and staff, and their families were managing this challenging time. Committee members shared that folks on their campus were feeling isolated, disconnected, and depressed due to the psychosocial, emotional, and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we asked, what could Hawaii Papaokeao do? And after some discussion led by Tapori Tangaro, representative from Hawaii Community College, we decided that we wanted to address Indigenous well-being through the nourishment that can be found in the abundant talent and knowledge across our campus communities. Hence, the birth of the inaugural Hawaii Papaokeao series, He Ukana Aloha Kā Kīlauea. Mahalo for joining us today, and we hope to see you and your family and friends every month through June of 2021 as we lovingly share this makana with you. E nānea kākou I ka ike kupuna I ho'owili ai mai ki kilo mai. Enjoy and be enriched by the wisdom passed down from our kupuna through so many generations to us today. Aloha.
No tihi la wea te aloha la hanali oka ke le ta moana la hana holo ma mua holo ma ho pela hana tau pono tai hui tamata ni la hana haeo mai ki la hue ala hana tau ahe ia I taili tai la hana hakinu a kauahi I te tai la hana no mea e kaui la malaha lo la hana waho mai Kamehameha Elima.
Aloha mai kako, ina hoa maka mako kia aina aloha ne. Mai ka moku nui o ke ave, a hiki loa aku I ka mole olu olu o lehua. Aloha e, aloha no e. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce today Lehua Kavaikapu Okolani Hewitt, who traces his genealogy for generation upon generation to Ko'olaupoko on this island of Oahu, specifically to Heia. And like our beautiful rains who have returned to us in this winter season, Lehua has returned to Windward Community College, having been here from the very beginning, guiding the formation of our vision statement and the early days of our college, and now continuing to guide us through his knowledge and teaching of hula, oli, mele, and mo'olelo. Please enjoy and welcome.
Mahalo ia ʻoe. Eia aula o tutu man, eia aula o tutu man, eia aula o tutu man, e ho'o hau oli ia oe, me ku aloha nui. Mo'olelo time ke ia. Oh, hana ho. Eia aula o tutu man. Eia aula o tutu man. Eia aula o tutu man. E ho'o hau oli ia oe. Me ku aloha nui. Mo'olelo time ke ia. A mo'olelo time ke ia. Mo'olelo time ke ia. Aloha mai kākou. O tutu man kawai kapa o kalani Hewitt ke ia. Ke aloha nui, ke aloha nui, ke aloha nui a kākou. Wahi pana are known as legendary places in Hawaii. These places have special stories attached to them. In He'eia, there are many wahipana or legendary places. In the district of He'eia, there is a special rain called the Ua Ho'ova'ava'a, a rain that is so hard, it digs trenches into the aina, washing the red soil, the lepo'ula, out into the sea, turning the ocean a red color. There in the pond of Luamo'o lives the Mo'owahine, who is known as Haumea, the mother of all things. At Lai o Kealohi is the sacred heiau or temple, Ka'alai Ula Ula, that was dedicated to the ancient god of creation, Kane. At Pu'uma Eli Eli is where the goddess Hina ran to the top of Pu'uma Eli Eli. And from the top, she ascended up into the moon where she made her home. The many reefs and islands of He'eia were formed by the body of Malulani, a sister of the fire goddess Pele. This is a name chant, a Mele Inoa, for Wahine Ali'i, who is my great-great-grandmother, who lived in this area and told many of these stories to her daughter, that was Kelekia Ha'ai-o-Holani Akona, who shared those stories with my grandmother, that was Iwa Wahine Ali'i Rowan Kanae, who shared these stories with me. Now, it is said that long ago, King David Kalakaua would come to He'eia. He would visit the home of Madame Wahine Ali'i, and there he was entertained not only with food, but with oli, mele, and hula that was supplied by the Kapamanu family, our other family of He'eia. Today, I have chosen to honor our kupuna, who are the ali'i of our ohana. We honor and respect our kupuna in this presentation. Her name, again, Wahine Ali'i. So come with me on this journey of mo'olelo and mele and hula as we honor the wahipana and the ali'i kupuna of the aina of He'eia, Haumea, who is the mo'o kupuna ali'i of lua mo'o, Hina, the kupuna ali'i who flew to the moon from Pu'uma Eli Eli, and Malulani, the kupuna ali'i, sister of Pele, whose Pela Kapu became what is known today as Ko'a Moku Moku o He'eia. And now we're going to do for you this mele that I'm going to teach you today. So makana imua kako, the mele I He'eia. I He'eia, ka ua ho'ova'a e homa kaukau e pāhea ai I He'eia. I He'eia. He'eia ka ua ho'ova'a e I He'eia. Ka ua ho'ova'a e I lua mo'o ke ia I lenu I lua mo'o ke kia I haumea I ke alohi ka alai ula ula I ke alohi ka alai ula ula Ima eli eli kohina pi ia Ima eli eli kohina pi ia Ike ko a moku moku malulani I ke kai ke ko a moku moku malulani I ke kai Haina ka inoa no e wahine ali'i Haina ka inoa no e wahine ali'i Inoa no e wahine ali'i. So this is the mele that we are going to learn today. But before we do that, Makana, is it possible to show the pictures? I brought a picture of our kupuna wahine. Her name is Wahine Ali'i. Now, just so that you know, at our last family reunion, and that was over 10 years ago, 5,000 family members attended. That was more than 10 years ago. It could have been 15, so I'm sure the numbers have escalated. Now, the kupuna that has the lei hulu, that is our kupuna wahine ali'i. And many, many, many of the ohana of Kane'ohe. This is their kupuna. Next to her is our kupuna, Ko'amokumoku o He'eia, named for the many reefs and the many islands within the bay, known as Ko'amokumoku o He'eia. Well, now you know, now you have seen, we're going to honor our kupuna, the kupuna of the ohana komomua, no Kane'ohe no ka hapanui o lākou. No no lākou I ki ia aina ki ia mau ahupua, o ia hoi o He'eia me Kane'ohe. So her descendants now all dwell in the ahupua of He'eia and Kane'ohe. So let's begin with our hula. All right. And as we move along, I'm going to share more mo'olelo about the different places, the different vahipana. So we start with the pa'i on the uha, e kolu mau pa'i maka uha, e kahi e lua a kolu. And then we pa'i the umauma because this is a hula pa'i umauma. We lean first, maka au au a kau, pa'i no i ka umauma, and then we lean, maka au au hema, pa'i no ka umauma. And then we repeat hana ho, 1, 2, 3, e kahi e lua e kolu, maka au au a kau o kahi pa'i maka umauma, maka au au hema o kahi pa'i maka umauma. Okay, follow me. Ho pili mai no o ko ia o. Okay, nā me ka maka a ho pili mai o ko ia o. E kahi e lua e kolu, e kahi e lua e kolu, then e kahi e lua. So this is the pa between each pauku, each verse. Hana ho pa, mai kai. Hana ho. Now, we do I he'eia mauka, from iole ka'a and ha'iku, those pali, I he'eia down to the lowlands of Hoi and out to Kalimuloa, a me Kalaio ke alohi. And in this district, nui no ke ia ua ka ua ava ava. I kaika no ke ia ua, I ka helele I ana no o ke ia ua loku, ho'o va'ava ano ka ua I ka aina, ka manawa o ka ho'o va'ava ana no o ka lepo alai ula o ka aina o He'eia, lave ki ia ua, ke ia mau lepo I loko o ke kai. So what I'm saying is, when this rain falls, this rain is very heavy, and the rain digs into the aina and takes the alai ula, the lepo alai ula into the kahakai. Let's try it again, okay? From the pa, and then we go into the pauku helu e kahi. Pa, I he'eia, I he'eia e, ka ua ho'ova ava e, I he'eia e, ka ua ho'ova ava e, pa. Once again, this pa will be between every pauku of this mele. I he'eia. Hana ho. I he'eia. I he'eia e he. Ka ua ho'ova ava e he. I he'eia e he. Ka ua ho'ova ava e he. Again, that was the first verse of our mele. I he'eia ka ua ho'ova ava. Now we come to pauku e lua of the mele. We talk about an area known as lua mo'o, o lua mo'o no ka aina o ke ia kupuna ali'i o ia ho'i o Haumea, noho no oia i ke la'aina, pili oia i ka ulu ana o ka hau, e kolu ano o ka pua o ka hau, i ke kakahiaka a mele mele no ke ano o ka pua o ka hau. I ke awakea a alani no ke ano o ka pua o ka hau. Maamu o ke kihi ano o ke ahiahi, ula ula no ke ano o ka pua hau. Pili ke ia pua hau i ke ia akua wahine o Haumea he kino lau no ke ia akua wahine ke ia kupuna ali'i o ka aina o he e ia ke ia aina o lua mo'o. So what I'm saying is that Haumea, the akua wahine of lua mo'o, is attached to all the hau that grows in that area. Now the hau, the pua'o o ka hau, the blossom of the hau, it has like 3 different characteristics. In the morning, the hau is yellow. It is mele mele. In the afternoon, it changes to an orange color. And then before evening, the hau is red. O ke ano o ka pua o ka hau, e like pu me ke ano o ke ia kupuna ali'i ke ia akua wahine o ke ia aina. He wahine ui, wahine o pio, he wahine mākua, he wahine luahine, he mo'o wahine. And these are the colors that match the character of Haumea, because she is able to change her body forms. So the mo'o olelo, pili yaya goes, yeah? That like the yellow blossom, beautiful, the orange color, the red color. The wahine ui, then the wahine mākua, then you get the wahine kupuna, kupuna ali'i no ke ia aina, and then you get the mo'o wahine. Well, that area there is located where the long bridge, that area we know as Lua Mo'o. Before that area had many, many kukuna o kala. And everybody, the kama'aina used to go off the bridge, yeah? You just walk down the bridge, yeah? And then you just ohi no ina pua o ke kukuna o kala. Pau ka ohi ana no ke i mau pua kukuna o kala. Hele no ho'i no i ka hale, a kui no ina lei. Well, all of that came from the mangrove that grew in that area. But because of the work that's being done today, the beautiful work, that area looks fabulous, entirely different than how it looked when we were keiki. Kamanawa o ka hānai ana no o nā kupuna ia māko, me ke ia ike ke ia mau mo'o olelo, a me ka olelo o lākou, mālama no lākou me ka olelo kupuna o ke la'aina o he e ia. All right, so now we're going to talk about lua mo'o, and we're going to do the motion. So we're going to do the pa first, and then after that, the pauku e lua. So nā mai no oko ia o a ho pili mai ki ia kupuna pa. Kahi e lua e kolu, e kahi e lua, e kahi e lua e kolu i ka pa'i ana maka uhaa ke ia manapa maka umauma. And then from the piko, extend out, make one nice lokowai. Yeah. I lua mo'o e hie. And she's a kia'i. Ke kia'i mehe anu. She's the guardian, yeah? She's watching over everything. Oia no ke kuleana o ke ia kupuna ali'i no ka aina. Ku oia he kia'i no ka aina. Pu oia he kia'i no na iwi hanau o ka aina. Pili no lākou na akua ke ia aina a me na iwi hanau o ke ia aina. No leila o ke kuleana o ke ia kupuna ali'i ke ia akua wahine ka mālama ana no. O kana mau mo'o puna noho no lākou i ke la'aina. So as our grandma would say, that she was the guardian not only of the fish pond, but also of the people, the bones born from that land. And that was her kuleana. I loko o ko mana o ano e pile ano no ke ia mo o lelo. Ke lawa. Hele no. Au ke ia mo o wahine I ke kai moana nui o ko a moku o he e ia. Kona kuleana, ka hahai ana no o nā ia. Hahai no ia I nā ia a ho'okomo no I ke ia mau ia I loko o ka maakaha. Komo no lako I loko o ka loko ia o he e ia. Pao ka ho'okomo ana no o nā ia I loko o ke ia maakaha. Hahai no oia ia ke ia mau ia a ho'i no oia I lua mo'o. So, she would go out of the makaha, of the fish pond. She would go into the bay area, ko amoku o he e ia. She would chase the fish into the makaha. She follow the fish into the makaha. Then they, ho'opa'ano ka makaha, they shut the makaha, and then all the fish would go inside, and she goes back to her aina, which is luamo'o. And in that way, she helped the people, with sustenance, the ia of the loka ia o he e ia, and this is how the people survived. So the pilina, the akua, the pilina me ka aina, the pilina o na iwihana o ka aina was the strength of the people back then. So again, let's do verse 2. E kahi e lua e kolu. One more time. Hana ho. Here we go. Ilua mo'o make that big fish pond, that lua, and then pa'i 3 times, and then she's the kia'i. So she's looking here and there. Because if you komo ano iloko ki ia aina o he e ia ma lama pono ko akahele iloko ki ia ahapua'a. Nui no na kupua, nui no na kia'i no ki ia aina, a malama no la ako ina mo opuna. So as our tutu would say, when you come into He'eia, you be very cautious. Very cautious because the kupua, they're everywhere. And they malama the aina and they malama ina mo'opuna. So let's take it from verse 1. Follow me. Ho'opili mai no o ko ia o. I He'eia. Ha I He'eia. Ka ua ho'ova ava I He'eia. Ka ua ho'ova ava Hana hou. I lua mo'o. I lua mo'o. Ke kia I hau mea. I lua mo'o. Ke kia I hau mea. So we've gone over Pauku e Kahi, which speaks about the ua ho'ova'ava'a. We did Pauku e Lua, which is about the lua mo'o and the kupua of that lua mo'o, and that is haumea. Now we're going to move a little bit down the road. So if you can imagine, this journey begins in Kane'ohe. You're coming and you're going to enter He'eia. That side you come in, that's He'eia Uli. Get He'eia Vaina, and the other side, He'eia Kea. So you're coming into He'eia Uli, you pass Lua Mo'o, you continue on the Alanui, and you're going to come to the area that's He'eia State Park. That we call Kealohi, He'aina Kupuna Kela. Now, as you go into Kealohi, on the right side, there's one aina, beautiful aina, right below the entrance. That's the aina of our kupuna. Kawā māmua anohono lākou I kela aina. Malamono lākou I kela aina. They took care of that aina and they lived there. From there, they went Lawai'a. They went Lawai'a I ke kuhonu. They went go ohi, ina limu. Hanai no lākou I ka mano. ma kekahi ko'amano o ke la'aina. But what had happened was, remember when we talked about the ua ho'ova'ava'a? From Ioleka'a and Ha'iku came this huge water, this huge flood, destroyed the homes there. From that time, ne eno ka ohana, I ka aina, the football field of King Intermediate School. Before had one whole village there, and that was the Komomua village. All the Komomua family from below Ke'alohi, and eno lako I ke la'aina. Today it's the football field. When I was keiki, the homes were still there. I was able to see the homes of all our kupuna that were there. Eventually, after they built the school, all of those homes disappeared. So that connects the first part of the Mele and the ua ho'ova'ava'a to the next part of this story, which is Ka'alai. Ka'alai ula, the heiau. Ka'alai ula akane heiau that was situated on Ke'alohi. Ke'alohi, the brilliant or the bright. Ula, red. The alai ula is the mud hen whose feathers are black, but the beak, the comb, and the vavai is ula, this beautiful red color. And if you saw an aerial view of Ke'alohi, the shape of the peninsula is exactly like the head of the mud hen. You're going to see the neck, the po'o, the a'i, the po'o, and you're going to see the nuku of the alai ula bird. Now, the heiau dedicated there to the god Kane, and we all know the god Kane is an akua o keola, no ka ho'ola, gives life. And the god Kane has three very powerful, essential kinolau that perpetuates ka ho'omau ana no keola. Of course, sunlight, kekahi, water, kekahi, and the air that we breathe. Those are the three life-giving kinolau manifestations of the akua Kane. So when we remember this place, we remember the light, and then we remember the alai ula bird. But there is also something else special about the light, the brightness, about Ke'alohi. Kalai o Ke'alohi, he leina, no ka ho'okomo ana no I ke au o na au makua. That peninsula is known as a leina. And this is where mahope o ka hā'ule ana I ho'ono I ka make, ne eno na uhane I ke la'aina. This is where people pass away in death and their spirits gather there to go into the leina, the doorway, into the ao, the light, the ke'alohi o ke'ao, the light, the enlightenment of the ancestral spirits. And that is the significance of all of this. The heiau being there, dedicated to Kane, the pili ana no I ka manu alai, he manu ke la a Kane, and then ke ia leina no ka ho'okomo ana no, ka ho'opili ana me na kupuna o ka wā mamua. And that's important because in our word ohana, we're not only talking about the present family, we also speak about those that have passed and those in the future. We all connect, yeah? Aia no ia oi, ka pauku I vaina, ai hea no ka po'o, ai hea no ka hi'u. You have to know all the connections, genealogy, the mo'okuauhau. And through this mele, we're telling mo'olelo and also mo'okuauhau. Pili no, ke la, ke ia, ke kahi, a oia ho'iha. So let's do the motions of the verse, I ke alohi. So we lift our hands up and we open up to the brightness. I ke alohi, e hi e. And then from our shoulder up to the right, ka'alai ula ula, e hi e. I ke alohi, e hi e. Ka'alai ula ula, e hi e pa. E hi e, hi e. E hi e, I ke alohi. I ke alohi, e hi e. Ka'alai ula ula, e hi e. I ke alohi, e hi e. Ka'alai ula ula, e hi e. E hi e, hi e. Okay, we're going all the way to Pauku e kahi, first verse. Pa. Ha I he e ia e. Ka ua ho ova ava e e. I he e ia e. Ka ua ho ova ava e pa. I lua mo'o. Ha I lua mo'o. Ke kia I mehe anu. I lua mo'o. Ke kia I mehe anu. Pa. Ke alohi, I ke alohi, ka'alai ula ula, I ke alohi, ka'alai ula ula, All right, so we're going to leave the area of ke alohi. We're going to continue on this journey, and we're going to get to this place called Ma Eli Eli. You know, Ma Eli Eli, people call it digging hill. Le pololei, ke la mana'o e pile ana no, ke la aina o pu'u Ma Eli Eli. Ka mana'o ki ia inoa Ma Eli Eli, pa apono no ke ia aina I ke kapu kahiko. O mau no ke kapu kawa kahiko I ke ia au huli huli. A ale hiki ke ho'ololi, a ale hiki ke ho'ohuli. Mau no na kapu o na po'e kupuna mahaluna o ki ia aina a oia ho'iha. So this place called Ma Eli Eli, it is because there are so many sacred places, many heao, na kupuna no, ke kukulu ana no, ki ia mau heao I loko ki ia aina. Wherever you walk, our kupuna set up ahu, heao, ku'ula, I o ia ne I loko ki ia aina. He aina ma ka uno, ina makamaka no kako e komono I loko ke la aina. Hele no me ka akahele. You see, because of the many shrines and altars and the heiau within Ma Eli Eli, if you go there, you have to be very, very careful. You have to maupopo pono, I ka pono no ke la aina. You have to know the protocol of that aina. Me wai ki I mau protocol, no na mo'opuna o ke la aina. Who gonna have the protocol? The mo'opuna of that aina. Me mako no. Maupopo no mako. Ka ohana. Ka maha lama lama ana no o ki ia pono o ki ia aina o Ma Eli Eli. I remember ku'uwa o pio. Hele no mākou o kipa I ke laaina. Hele mai ke kahi wahine kahuna. Ma ke makina ho I ke ia wahine kahuna e komo I loko o ka aina o mā eli no kona make e ike I ke kapu o ke ia aina. Oia ho I ha. Naka ohana no e kalaiwa oia I loko o ke ia aina. Ka manawa o kona holo ana I loko o ke ia aina. Ha ule oia I lalo iho. Ale hiki ia ke hele me kona mau wāwai. Ua haki ia. Ke ku e wāwai o ke ia kupuna wahine. He mo olelo. Polo lei. Mo olelo. Oia I ono. Na ono e iki me ke ia mau maka. Na uno ka mau popo ano o ke ia mo olelo e pili ano no ke ia aina. Ka ho kipa ano no o ke ia wahine kahuna. So what I'm saying is that when I was younger, there was a kahuna that wanted to come to visit Ma Eli. She wanted to see this place and to see the many sacred areas within Ma Eli. So the family drove her, and soon after get out of the car, first, she fell down. Broke the ankles. Nui, okona mau vavai ke la manawa. Ke la manawa, I mai oia ia mako. Ale ke ia aina, ko o aina, ale hiki ia o ke hele ki ia aina. And she said to us, this is not her place, this aina, and she cannot go anymore. And then, I mai oia ia maa ua, me oau a me ko uho hanau, ponono o lua hele I ka aina. And she said, the only two can go was my cousin, that was Lealoha and I, and we went into the aina to give the pule. So this aina, Ma Eli, do not call it digging hill. It's not digging hill. Ma Eli, ka aina o pu'u Ma Eli no, I ke kapu o na akua, na kupua o ke la aina. That's Ma Eli. That's the mana'o of Ma Eli. So this is where the goddess Hina, when lele a'e I luna I ka mahina. Kamo olelo I pili ana no kona lele ana. So before down in Ma Eli, pili I ke la aina I he ia kea. Remember again, he ia uli, he ia vaina, he ia kea. This mo olelo is he ia kea. Well, they lived there below Ma Eli. And you know, alana kupuna, kakahia kanui. Our kupuna, they get up real early. Maamu o hiki mai ana o kala I luna, ua ala no lako, hana no lako I kahana, hana lawai, hana kanumea ai loko ka aina, nui no kahana alako. Hiki ka ho'okui ana o kala, pau no kahana. Ke la manawa, ho'omaha no lako. So our kupuna, they get up very early before the sunrise. They go do whatever they have to do. By the time noon, ka ho'okui ana o kala I luna, that time, pau kahana. Manawa ho'onanea, manawa ho'omaha. This is when they rest and they have enjoyable things to do. Maybe some like, here moi, take a rest. Well, that day, Hina and her kane, he wanted to rest because pau kahana, she wanted to ku'ikapa, paun tapa. So she, pauning the tapa on the papa ku'ikapa, me ka mea ho'oku'i ki ia mea kapa, and then nuha o kanakane iaya, no ka ho'okani nui, a ke ku'i ana no ka kapa. So the husband, kanakane, got nuha with her because she pounding the kapa and loud noise, ale hiki iaya ke hia moi me ka maikai. So the two of them went ho'opa'apa ano, ke kahi, ho'opa'apa ano laua ke kahi, e pili ano no ke ia pilikila, pilike I waina no o laua. And so, me ka huhu a pa'i o hina iaya makapo'o, no kona ho'opa'apa ana iaya. So she was nuha with him, huhu with him, and he was grumbling with her. So she patted him, hit him on the head with the mea ku'ikapa. And then the two of them get up and she run and he chased her. Ukali ako oya yaya. Ohahai no oya yaya. Hele oya iluna o pu'uma eli eli. And he was chasing her and she ran up to pu'uma eli eli. Well, at pu'uma eli eli, you're at the top. Where you going from there? There's only one place to go. Iluna, iloko kalani. Kela manava, ka hehe ako oya I kona mau kupuna, kona mau au makua, kona mau akua no ke kokua ana no yaya. Ka manava o kona ka hea hea, nā la kou no e kokua iaya. Ane hiki o kanakane I kela pu'uma eli eli, almost he reached her, and then nā la kou no, de hapai oya I luna. Ke ia mo'opuna a la kou o hoi o hina. So they carrying her up into the heavens, and he ran up, and then huki oya I kona wawai. Well, you know, this is mo'olelo, kalakupuano, kind of magical, kupayana hano. So she flew up into the moon, but he was huki oya I lalo, anana kupuna, huki oya I luna, huki o ki ia kane ia I lalo, a huki no lako I luna, a haki ia I kona wawai. Broke off the leg of Hina. But magical, of course, the leg wouldn't grow back, yeah? Because this is mo'olelo kupayanaha. And they took Hina up into the moon, and that's where Hina remains today. That's why one of the phases of the moon is called Lono Muku, for that time where there was that big ho'opa'apa'a between Hina and Kanakane and Haki'ia kona wawai. Kamanava o kona lelea e iluna o kamahina. All right, so that is the mo'olelo. So let's go to that motion. Ma eli eli from the right, we're going up to the left. Again, ima eli eli e, e. Touch our shoulder, turn our palms up, and then up into the sky until we form the mahina. Kohina pi ia e I ka mahina. Hana ho me ka pā. Ima eli eli, ha ima eli eli, e, kohina pi ia e, e, ima eli eli, e, kohina pi ia e, from the beginning. Ihe e ia e, ka ua ho o wa'awa e, ihe e ia e, ka ua ho o wa'awa e, ilua mo'o, ha ilua mo'o e, ke kia I hau mea, ilua mo'o, ke kia I hau mea, Ike alohi, ha ike alohi, ka alai ula ula, Ike alohi, ka alai ula ula, Ima eli eli, ha ima eli eli, kohina pi ia ima eli eli, kohina pi ia we get one more mo'olelo to tell you. We're going to do the verse called Ike ko'a moku moku malulani ike kai. Ike ko'a moku moku, the reefs, the islands, and the hills of He'eia that were formed in the ocean. Again, malulani, ike ko'o moku moku o He'eia, and then the waters of the bay. Now, this is a really, really important story because when the Pele family came to He'eia, one sister by the name of Ohelo, she fell in love with the chief named He'eia. She loved him very, very much. She thought he loved her. But again, he found another wahine. And this hurt Ka'ohelo so bad, but it hurt Ka'ohelo's sister, Malulani, even greater. And as this mo'olelo goes, Lukoya Iaya Iho, she committed suicide. Now, the family was not done with the journey. They had just come from Kahiki, Ni'ihau, Kauai. Now, Mahe'eia Makaia Moku o Oahu. So now the Ohana had to continue the journey. So they had to prepare the kinukupapa'u o ke ia wahine o iho'i o malulani. No ka lawe ana no, o ka iwi, i ka home o lako, ka aina o lako, o iho'i o Kīlauea hale ma'u Hawaiʻi. So what they had to do, they went, pu holoholo no lako ke kinukupapa'u o malulani. Pao ka puhololo ana no o kona kinukupapa'u na lako no ka holehole o ka iwi. Pao ka holehole no o ka iwi a kaula'i no na iwi I loko o ka la. No ka ho'omahalo o ana no. Ka hana a lako me ka pela o ia no ke kumu o nā ko'a mokumoko o He'eia a me nā moku li'ili'i a me nā pu'u mā eli a me nā pu'u e ae o ki ia ahupua. So what happened was, after she committed suicide in a traditional way, they took her body and they steamed the body. After they steamed the body, they stripped all the flesh off of the body. Then they dry the bones out in the sun. But this story is very, very important because it was the pela kapu, the flesh that was stripped from the body, that was deposited into the sea. The pela that sank became the reefs. The pela that floated became the hills and the islands. Moku oloi, moku manu, moku kekepa, moku kapapa, ahualaka. This is all the pela of Malulani. When you hear the song Kala'ia o Malulani, that is a reference to the pela of Malulani in the bay. And then the ko'a moku moku o He'eia. Our great grandma, her name is ko'a moku moku o He'eia. And because the Mele speaks about her daughter, Wahine Ali'i, I wanted to include her. So let's go over the motions of the last verse and then into the ha'ina. So we say, Oke ko'a moku moku. You see all the reefs, the islands, and the hills. Malulani was the pelakapu of Malulani that was deposited into the kai. Let's try from the pa. Ike ko'a moku moku. Oke ko'a moku moku e. Malulani ike kai e. Again. Oke ko'a moku moku e. O malulani ike kai e. Pa. E hi e hi e. E hi e hi e. One more time. Haoke ko'a moku moku e. Hamalulani I ke kai o ke ko a moku moku o malulani I ke kai Now we're going to do the ha'ina verse. You know why? We're running out of time. So we go right into the ha'ina from your mouth to the right. Ha'ina ka'inoa No, palms down. Eva hine ali'i again. Ha'ina ka'inoa No, Eva hine ali'i Ha'ina, ha'ina ka'inoa No, Eva hine ali'i Ha'ina ka'inoa No, Eva hine ali'i We have come to the end of our presentation. I hope you have enjoyed listening, watching, and learning this hula I He'eia. Once again, I am Tutuman Kawai Kapu Okalani Hewitt. I want to thank everyone for this invitation to be a part of this wonderful program. I want to thank Makana, David, and artists for asking me to come again this year to present. The theme was Ali'i. What better Ali'i to honor today? Iki'ia au huli huli, these changing times, than our very own kupuna, the Ali'i of our family, the closest living thing on earth to our ancient kupuna, our aumakua, and our akua. The kupuna that we can see, feel, and touch, but most of all, that we can spend time with and love. We'll end with a performance, and I want you to join me as we do to conclude this program, the entire Mele of I He'eia. And to all of you, mahalo nui loa na ke akua no, ka ho'ola ka ho'omaikai a me ka ho'omalu. Take it away, Makana. I He'eia. Mahalo, everyone. Aloha.